Well, I guess I should probably stop the music that's coming from the speakers because that makes a little bit of sense, right?
Sure.
And then we make sure that the volume is up on that and then mute it again because, hey, we're professionals and we're awkwardly entering into the Married Lab. Married Lab! We're gonna work on that title card. I'm probably gonna stick with the music though because I like that labby music.
Mm-hmm.
It's very science, as it were.
Science.
Yeah, Amber, the queen of picking all of our music, she's the one who's been in charge of that. What is this show? Well, I'm kind of making it up as we go. Amber actually has no idea what my plan is for this show, to be brutally honest. The first thing we want to say is this is not a replacement for the Patriot Hangout. This is more or less a more casually focused discussion about the game, while at the same time giving us a place to let out our heads ups, changes to the channel, updates to the channel. Just kind of going over our own weeks in HeroClix. Like, I know we do that with the Metal Lab, but that's a little bit more competitively focused. I want to kind of keep it casually focused with us because it's always been like a request we've had. Every so often it comes up like, hey, why don't you have more casually focused shows? Well, for one, it's difficult to do, and you'll find as we get a little later in the show or in this show that's going to be difficult. But we need an excuse to have Amber on camera again because everything she's been doing has been behind the scenes lately. Explain what happened to Dial It Up, Amber.
Oh. So Dial It Up kind of fell to the wayside originally because I was taking a pause when the new rules came out. And I wanted to get myself reoriented with the new rules and everything like that. And then, for whatever reason, I found the new rules were actually really hard to wrap my head around. And then when it came to filming episodes for it based on what needed to be known for the new rules, I just couldn't really find anything I wanted to do episodes on. The last thing that I actually did was locations, which was, hey, this was something new. And the changes to bystanders. And then I actually filmed, have not edited or released, and likely would have had to refilm because I think I messed up a section of it. ID cards, the updates to ID cards, with introducing the students, the villains, and the bounties, as well as the way that the burst and the aura effects work. And that's the section that I think I got wrong when I filmed it. And that's just part of the problem was that I was second guessing myself, and every time I filmed something I was like, I think I actually got that wrong. And part of the problem I was finding was that, and I know a lot of other players have found this too, is that the wind didn't seem to be as responsive or really helpful as it used to be. And I can't even tell you the last time I got a question actually answered on the win, where more often than not I get that reply back of, hey, your question has been disapproved, read the rulebook. And it's like, okay, that's great, but where in the rulebook does that say that? I quoted the section you want me that apparently has the answer, and it's ambiguous, and that's why I'm asking for clarification. But I used to be so gung-ho about the rules. I used to be like the rules person, and now I couldn't care less because I'm just not getting, I don't feel like we're getting much support in that respect. And it's really hard for me to want to go in to the win and be like, hey, we need a clarification on this, and the response is, read the rulebook. Like, okay, yeah. Cool.
Yeah, and I think I've mentioned this on the Metal Lab a few times. One of the big flaws of this is they don't give you the answer when they shoot you down and say we're not going to post this, because the biggest problem, and this is a part of teaching, I can't remember which college, I think it was my math professor when I went to school the second time, he stressed this point really hard, and it was, do not be afraid to ask a question, because you might not be the only one that has that question. And therein lies the issue is, the win is getting these questions, but because they're not answering, somebody else who might have that question or might see an ambiguity where we've also seen an ambiguity will need that answer, and that's been a challenge coming from the win. And I have no words for that, and I don't know. Like, the solution should be, if you don't answer it in public, answer it in private, so that that person can either share it, or there might be 4 other people they're having a discussion with, because every question on the win comes from an argument, right? And this internet thing is supposed to be stopping all those arguments. I mean, how many fights probably broke out in a bar because 2 guys couldn't agree on who played in a movie? And now we have Google on our hands, and then bar fights have stopped, right? Well, they haven't stopped; they're just dumber now. We're just trying to find dumber reasons. Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of So where we're coming from is dial it up is not a thing, which means Amber hasn't been on the camera as much. I want to get her back on the camera. So we're going to talk. This could be our outlet because of our schedules now. This is probably going to be our outlet for where we play games. If we can get lighting handled, and I can get a decent camera angle and do like tripod and an extra camera coming out of the thing, we are going to probably film games like right over there on their floor. We'll have to clean the floor. Oh, Jesus, it's a disaster area. But this is one of many goals of this show. So games won't be happening overnight. But this is our new direction of our patron funds right now. Is we're going to start saving up that money aside, and we're going to make sure that money turns into this new camera setup that we're going to use to watch the map. So that's our next goal with that. So this is going to be a casual talk / casual game time. One, we both need to be playing HeroClix more often. Doesn't matter if it's a competitive game. And this is one thing I don't think Amber understands that I try to stress with her is all games are practice. Doesn't matter if you're trying hard or not trying hard. That's where not trying hard is where accidents come from. Happy accidents like the police team?
Yes. It was like, where are you going?
Remember the 10th anniversary team? Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah, because we were doing nonsense. Nonsense occurred, and then nonsense occurred. So, but that said, it is also where we're going to kind of recap when big things happen, like unboxings.
True.
We got Earth X. What do you think of Earth X, Amber?
It looks interesting so far, and I know I'm not the only one to kind of think this way, is that I am glad that they did very well with the Spider-Man villains sub-theme with it, because that's almost the only thing I'm excited for in the set. Just because I didn't read Earth X, couldn't get into it, don't know any of these characters. Like, even when... It's kind of rare for me, like, when I read comics, I read a lot of off comics, but mostly, like, my big main comics are X-Men comics. So, when we get an X-Men set, I go crazy for it. But, like, when we get Avengers set, I know the characters. When we get DC sets, I know the characters. But when you get these kind of, like, alternate universe ones, where it's very specific to a storyline, if you don't know the storyline, you're completely lost. As long as it comes to, like, where these characters come out. As a HeroClix standpoint, whatever, they're HeroClix figures. They don't need names for you to play the figure. You could just play them.
That's Metal Lab talk, Amber.
I know, but still, like, but, okay, fine. Casually, minded. How do I put it together a casual theme team when I don't know the storyline?
I mean, we have Marvel in them.
And again, I can go back to the fact that I have attempted to read this comic 3 times now, and I can't get into it. I don't find it interesting.
They also all have Earth, like everything that was in the story has Earth X keyword.
Yeah, you could just be like,
that's where everything gets kind of that's what happens.
Yeah.
That said, having not read Earth X, I am confused by them. But I do like that. Here's how I see Earth X as a story, and I'm starting to realize that this is the case. If you're trying to read the story, you're doing it wrong. It's like you're reading a Playboy for the articles. It's an Alex Ross book.
It's true.
You shouldn't be reading the story first. You should be looking at the pretty pictures first. It took me 5 readings of Kingdom Come to actually start reading that there was a story to this.
I didn't like Kingdom Come either.
But I thought Kingdom Come was probably one of the more brilliant DC stories ever made. But that said, it is It is as reading Earth X on your first couple goes should be like reading a Playboy your first couple goes, because eventually you're gonna find out that there's articles in that magazine, but that's not really why you're there now, is it? Anyway, that being said, I like the way a lot of the characters look. I like that Captain America look with the flag draped over him. It's kind of cool. I like that Bruce Banner is the child mind kind of sitting on the back of Hulk. That's cool looking. All the Inhumans in this set are just cooler looking versions of the Inhumans, except for Karnak.
Karnak's just Karnak.
Karnak looks like
what
he
do you
became
do
a
with a
watcher
guy
almost.
who just has a giant head?
Yeah, he's Karnak, big giant head mode. Maybe he played too much NBA Jam. I don't know. But long and short of it is, that's how I see the set outside of Spider-Verse. Now, inside of Spider-Verse, let me tells you, I got the character I've been waiting for to be clicked for so long. I can't believe it took this long. Stegron.
I actually, so in this moment right now, I just came to the realization that Spider-Man is my equivalent of Batman, in the sense that I don't like Batman. I like everything around Batman. I like all of the Bat family. I like all of the Batman villains. And Spider-Man's the same way. I hate Spider-Man, but I like everybody around. I like the Spider-Verse. I like all the Spider-Man villains. So it's like, this is a big set for me where it's like, yes, all of these villains are awesome. Yes, I want more Spider-Man villains. I don't care about Spider-Man. Give me more Spider-Man villains.
I also, I know I pointed it out in the piece by piece, but I do love how in Stegron's card, almost all of his keywords have some kind of S to it, because in the comics he speaks with a hiss.
Oh, okay.
So he's Spider Island, S.H.I.E.L.D., Savage Land, Sinister Syndicate, Scientist is all in there.
That's actually a neat little... That's nice. Sometimes you come across these like cute little design things that they do, like with the Batman animated, where the power names spelt the actors' names.
Yep. Well, I think that only happened with the Mark Hamill one.
No, Mark Hamill, Kevin Conroy, and Adam West.
Well, looks like I didn't read enough of those. Whoops, my bad.
Whoop.
My bad. But yeah, so overall, it's kind of it's been a fun set. I am not ashamed that we didn't get a Venom chase.
No.
There's one or two I'm actually looking for, personally, for function over form. I've always thought that Venom was a little overrated as a character myself, and then somebody else said it, and I was like, oh, I can say it in public now. But that said, overall, I do like the set. And fresh off of Into the Spider-Verse, I feel that Spider-Verse-y feeling.
Yeah.
Can't complain that we got an Ultra Chase.
Nope.
The only complaint I have about that break is I wish there was stuff that nobody had seen yet, with the exception of the Spider-Man. I think everything had already been seen.
Yeah. Even like our other super rare Gorgon was previewed.
Yeah. Everything was either previewed or seen.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, yeah, and the big thing was it was the Spider-Man. Okay, so I have to laugh about this, and it's not on anybody, but every time an unboxing, like ours or Scott's or somebody else's, every time an unboxing comes out, you always have these, like, screen caps that go around, like, Facebook or whatever. And the screen cap that's going around right now for the web shooters is, like, the really bad angle that got set up from our second camera while it first got unboxed. And it's like tilted and half of the card's cut off and it's not quite in focus. And I'm like, guys, like 10 minutes later in the video, I give you like the perfect shot of the card. So like every time that picture's come up, I've been like, hey guys, here's the card.
Here's a better screenshot.
Here's a better screenshot. Please read the card.
And there's such a rush to get things spoiled. It kind of hurts my feelings that I do that. I do that piece by piece the next day. In fact, it's not even the next day, it's hours later.
It wasn't even from the piece by piece.
That's what I mean.
It was in the video, because I put him in my SEAL team. So, like, it's my hand holding the card. I'm like, here's the picture. Please just use this one. You can see the card properly.
Either way, though, it's cool to see more equipment. I like that WizKids is going in that direction.
Yes.
Because equipment doesn't feel as casual, unfriendly as resources could at times. Like,
yes.
we did have to have a standing table agreement that... I mean, when it first came up, the Infinity Gauntlet, only one player at our table had the Infinity Gauntlet.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were like, guys, can we just wait till everybody has an Infinity Gauntlet so we can just stop using this thing for a bit? Yeah. And then when everybody has one, whatever, right? Then when the Book of Skulls came out, we made sure everybody in our group got one as we were going to multiple events. So that helped cover that. And then power batteries were just everywhere and we couldn't avoid it. And we were fine with them, but it was that whole uneven thing. With equipment, I feel less like me having one piece of equipment is going to be different from my opponent not having a piece of equipment. Because, one, it takes work to get equipment. Yeah. Because you do have to move out, you have to pay points, you have to take a power action in order to get that equipment. And I think that kind of, that's a series of events that makes them less casual, unfriendly.
Mm-hmm. I also feel like there isn't, at least for right now, there doesn't seem to be an equipment that either has to be on absolutely every single team or one where you break the game by having it on your team.
Yeah.
Like if you're the one guy that comes to the kitchen table with this piece of equipment and then everybody else is like, oh god, this guy. Like it's not like when you sat down with like one person had like the Green Lantern battery and it's like, oh great, there goes all of our free actions. I'm glad we're gonna sit here for the next 6 hours doing nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, when and that's always one of those things that's hard. Having coming from a Magic background, when one of you guys plays blue, you know you're in for a night. Now, I mean, because I play Commander nowadays, we expect to be in for a night. So we actually get angry at guys who are playing green-red and killing everybody on turn 2. Like, come on! I bought beer for this! Get your blue deck out!
Oh, man.
But anyway, it's one of those things about casuals. So he's got to be... we got another one of these, do we? I'm going to have to keep an eye on that. It's always hard to... Where did I go? I got distracted by a stupid comment. I let it happen. No, but with HeroClix, you always got to... When it comes to casual play, you always got to try to avoid those unfun elements. And it's difficult sometimes because, our buddy who likes to play the Green Lantern Power Battery, he's a Green Lantern fan. Like, to the point of obnoxious. Love you, Ryan. But at the same time, I can't say no, don't play, the Green Lanterns. You want to play the Green Lanterns. It's casual play. But at the same time, we kind of have to draw a line to the battery sometimes. So we had like a standing agreement. If you want to bring a green power battery, it's because you want to make your Green Lantern stronger, not because you want to slow down the damn game.
Yeah.
Also because he has a nasty habit of forgetting all the rules to it and forgetting to stop people when they have multiple free actions. Like, you're never gonna remember it anyway, so let's just not play with the rule. Anyway, but so when it comes to EarthX and casual play, what keywords kind of jumped out at you, or what figures came in that you want to add to other teams that existed before, from other stuff?
Hydra.
The Hydra. You want to play the Hydra, eh?
I want to play the Hydra. Yeah. But also from what I understand now,
okay.
You have the cards behind you?
The Hydras each individually increase a stat that's different from another one, and that's my fault on the on piece by piece. Sorry, but I was very tired. I think we filmed that I was very tired. We started filming that after you had gone to bed, which was about 10:30 at night. So I'd been up for my usual day at work, come home, we put the kids to bed, then we started filming the unboxing, then when I started filming piece by piece. And the other thing too is rereading traits constantly gets a little... It gets really hard to just constantly reread them. So the Hydra the Hydra trait is going to be different from each of the Hydra versions. So the two lower rarity, the two common ones, each increase either an attack by a close combat attack or a ranged combat attack. Sharon Carter increases defense against ranged combat attacks, and I believe Falcon increases defense for close combat attacks. Yeah, they're right in front of your face.
I know.
But they're all going to be different, but they all are still a unique modifier. So I'm pretty sure if you play with one of each of the Hydras, it'll come out to like +1 on all stats. But I'm not. I don't have 100% of them in my hands. So
Yeah, we only have the 4 different ones.
yeah, because we had the common or the 2 commons, which was the range attack one and the close combat attack one, which is like the green one that had close combat expert, and then the other one that had range combat expert, and then there was the Sharon Carter and the Falcon we got as well.
Yeah.
So
The thing that I was interested in to look at was their keyword is Hydra. So they will actually work with all other Hydra guys, even though they're not technically the same Hydra.
And this raises actually a lot of possible stratagems that may not have come to mind before, because you're now going to start looking at some characters and say, but are they Hydra? And that it could come up that Hydra Cap that we all spent lots of money for the simple fact that he was Hydra Cap is all of a sudden starting to look good in the HeroClix world, right? I mean, it's not necessarily guaranteed. Hey, and coincidentally, I have HC Realms open because we should do this for this sort of thing. Like we crack out the keyword generator, as I like to call it, or the random keyword checker, and we set it to modern age, and we remember that Y comes way after A.
It's like I watched you go past that like 3 times.
Shush you. I wanted your opinion. I politely ask for it. President Osborne has it? I didn't even catch that. Anyway, so here's our look at HC Realms here. So we have 31 characters in Modern with it. It includes Silvermane, President Osborne from both the Earth-X and Fast Forces from Earth-X. Obviously the Hydra Cap from Avengers Defenders War. And from Deadpool and the X-Force, we have the Ninjas, the Jackhammer, the Fenris. Superior Foes of Spider-Man has Kingpin. So I apologize. Nothing of interest. But then this set's going to have some Hydra stuff too.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought something from Secret Wars Battle World was going to have Hydra, and it turns out I was wrong. Of course, if you're looking Golden Age, I mean, Nick Fury, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is still listed as modern on this guy. You should probably fix that, guys. But also came with a bunch of Hydra guys, like Baron Strucker could be good with all this. And you go back in the Golden Age, there's a ton, an absolute metric ton of dudes who are really good with the that happen to have the Hydra keyword.
There's a Hydra Wolverine.
There's a Hydra Wolverine, and I'm sure Amber's like, "Ooh, I'm gonna make Hydra guys with the Hydra Wolverine." The Hydra Wolverine, I think, it has like Hydra for close combat attacks too, so that's gonna be pretty awesome. Yeah, so Hydra teams are gonna be very cool and casual because of these guys. In addition to them being their own thing.
The other team I want to make is the Union Jacks and King Britain.
The Union Jacks, plural. And
Yes.
King Britain, was he a common, or did we pull him?
We did not pull.
We didn't pull King Britain.
No, I don't know what rarity he is.
Yeah, but I have seen the model.
Yes.
He looks very Arthurian.
He is also in the Fast Forces, or the starter set, rather. It's actually not a Fast Forces. It is a starter set, because it comes with maps and rulebook and everything. But yes, just because I love Brian Braddock, so...
You got an obsession with the Braddocks.
Anytime I can get a Captain Britain, I'm happy.
Yeah. Absolutely. So what else do we got to go over? We did Earth-X. Well, let's talk about WKOs around the corner. Unfortunately, we're missing 2 of them.
We are, but we have children, and they are celebrating their birthdays because we have twins.
Yeah.
And so we will be doing birthday celebrations the weekend that 2 out of the 3 local WKs are going to be happening. So
my feelings aren't super hurt by it. I'm pre-qualified twice over for, I mean, not literally twice over, but I am pre-qualified for Canadian Nationals, so really it's just surprising. I think it's cool. I know, la-di-da to me, right? I mean, honestly, I might even be just more interested in Battle Royales. We'll see. I know I'm going to try to hit the one up at Jackson Queen. It's constructed. I don't know what I'm going to play yet, but by the time of this event, Earth-X should be legal, which means I want to address possibly looking into something in Earth-X. And then before that, we have that charity tournament around the corner for Eternal Games. Yeah. I'm still working on the logistics on that one. I don't know if I can get down there.
that may be an only you. Just
might be an only
because
me.
of sitters.
Yeah.
We only have so many weekends we can cash in free babysitting.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and paid babysitting on that kind of thing is hard. Trying to drag our 3 kids out to... Like, a lot of people are like, why don't you just bring them with you? Well, then we have to monitor our 3 children and occupy them for the period of time that HeroClix tournament goes on. And that distracts... Like, there's no way I can play with a full mind. Now, granted, for this tournament, I'm not necessarily playing hard.
But also, in this very particular tournament, we do have to cross the border, and we can't actually do that with our children right now.
No, we don't have passports for the kids. That's on the to-do list, don't get me wrong. Yes. Actually, it's on the strict to-do list for our daughter.
Yeah, because she's first week of July.
Yeah. Yeah, I should do that sooner rather than later. So we have that to address along with, the WKOs around the corner and then anything in the future. It's been exciting. I really hope the WWE comes out this year. That's been my dream.
Yeah,
is WWE coming out this year. I'm something of a wrestling fan. I don't know.
What do we actually have coming out this year? Because we do know that we have upcoming... so EarthX just came out.
Uh-huh.
We know we have...
Well, it's not out yet.
Sorry. EarthX is coming out. We have the Gravity Feed Star Trek.
Yep. The Star Trek The Next Generation.
Is X-Men animated expected this
X-Men
year?
Adventures is supposed to be this year.
Okay. I feel like there's
another...
late in the year, though. I feel like there's another
a DC set that was announced.
Oh, yes. Rebirth.
Rebirth was announced.
Yes.
So. That's 3 sets this year. I hope it kind of stays at that and anything else is smaller sets.
Yeah.
Because, honestly, last year's release schedule was
really
heavenly.
Nice, actually.
It was so nice. Like, if you look back on what was in last year, it was just like 3 or 4 sets, I think, and then a couple small, like 1 or 2 small sets.
Oh, small set wise, we're getting a Captain Marvel Gravity Feed for the movie.
Yeah, so I think this is going to be a year with a lot of small sets. Because Captain Marvel is going to be a thing. If WWE comes out this year, that's going to be a thing.
I kind of hope that that's like a late year, like we had the Star Trek set, where it's like a November, December release.
Yeah, I know I hypothesized on the Metal Lab that if anything occurs as far as the creation of that set, I think final or some level of approval is going to happen in April because based on the traveling schedule of the WWE, they'll be in town in April for WrestleMania in Jersey.
Yes.
For that.
Oh, yeah, I remember that being close by.
Yeah. So that's going to happen, and then yeah, so when I'm assuming they'll be finished with approvals there, or they'll go for the likeness. Like, is this good enough for you? Is this good enough for you? And I feel like they should be pretty cool with it for the most part.
And just judging by like the action figures that have come out from like Mattel and Hasbro and stuff, it's like, yeah, I don't think they're really judgy about likeness.
And when they look, they'll do some cool stuff with them as well. But I'm super hyped for the fact that WWE clicks are a thing, especially if you have that ability to. And I preach this. You have to remember that wrestling, because it's staged, is very comic bookish.
Yep.
You know, like this week in Raw, Braun Strowman flipped a limousine. So, Amber's also a wrestling fan.
Oh yeah, you guys don't actually get to hear me talk about it all that often unless you're friends with me on Facebook, and then it gets crazy.
Yeah. So Amber, what would you want out of the WWE set?
Now it's one of those things, because I am only really recently gotten into watching WWE. I know a lot of the modern day superstars, so there's a lot. Like, I really, really just want a super strength charge invincible Braun. Like, that's just my dream. But also, I want them to do the tag team mechanic of the duo bases that we've had, where it's 2 dials on 1 dial and then you flip between the 2 characters. And I think that could do really well with having the tag teams, and I want the bar.
The bar?
The bar.
The bar!
But also, I think they could have a lot of fun with the crazy out there characters like Undertaker, like the Demon Balor, like...
Oh, Demon Balor! She's in my heart!
Balor.
This is why I married her, guys.
There's so much that... And I know Jason's gushed about this like crazy, but there's so much you can do with all of the personalities and the styles of the superstars that they have that could actually mesh really well with HeroClix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so cartoony, and because of the way they react, they add to the cartoonishness of it all. And when you said tag teams, my brain immediately went to the New Day.
Oh gosh, you know what? I was gonna say the New Day, but then there's the 3 of them, so then you'd have to figure out
Triple
a
Diamond.
way. Yeah, make it a 2x2 base. Make it a 2x2 base where they're all sitting on a pancake.
Honestly, they could almost do a dial swap with that, where depending on the combination of New Day members that you
Shifting focus
did,
New Day.
shifting
There you go.
focus New Day. Well, because the way I was looking at it is they follow the Freebird rule. For those of you unfamiliar with pro wrestling, a tag team is a team of 2 wrestlers generally, and the tag team championships are held by 2 people. But the Freebird rule, created for the Fabulous Freebird, is when there's 3 members of your tag team that you interswap with, any member of your trio can defend your belt. Any 2 members of your trio can defend the belt. So the New Day being consistent of Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, and I wanted to call him Austin Creed, and Big E. Big E Langston, for those of you who are old school and remember him by that. Because there's 3 members, you'd have to be using like any combination of 2, and then you give them 3 bases, I think. So package them with 3 bases, right? And then one combination is Xavier Woods and Big E, and another combination is Kofi Kingston and Big E, and the other combination is Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. And every time I put Kofi Kingston on my team, I'm gonna ask, "Aren't you supposed to be Jamaican?" Fit wrestling fans, no. Whoosh. Anyway, so I don't know. That's a mechanic they could probably pull off somehow.
Yeah.
I wrote an article for Majestics a little while back, and I think I might have to redact that article and write a new one. Because at first I was all like, yeah, it's going to be Attitude Era. I think that's what's going to sell. But the WWE wants to sell their current product. Let's not kid ourselves. So.
I mean, they did name drop, like, The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin, and, like, they're older guys.
Chases.
So, yeah, you know that they're gonna show up at some point. But right now, what's new and what's hot and what they want to sell is...
Roman Reigns. No, actually, no, not Roman Reigns right now.
No,
Seth Rollins.
no.
Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
And I do demand a sideline active Randy Orton. With sideline active RKO out
RKO to nowhere.
If one of your characters is hit by an attack, or if another character is knocked back, or something, or just trouble alert it, I miss. RKO out of nowhere.
Yes.
Oh, that would be cool.
Oh, man.
I think this is going to be a topic that comes up on a semi-regular basis on this show. Where all of a sudden it's like, Amber, what was your dial design this week for a WWE character?
Oh, now I'm just reminded that Ember was at PAX and I missed her.
Yes, yeah, we
And
missed him by...
People kept showing me pictures of them with her, and I'm like, it's not fair.
Yeah, Amber is something of an Ember Moon fan, and Ember Moon was at PAX Unplugged.
And she was at the WizKids booth.
At the WizKids booth, nonetheless. Yeah. I think Jay sent me pictures like, do you know this girl? Like, oh, Jay. Yes, Brock will be on the sideline the entire game. No, it'll be until the end of the game. Or, no, until the finals of the tournament. I don't know, when does Brock get paid the most? Sideline active. Your belt wearer is about to lose, or is about to leave the company. Send in Brock Lesnar to take the belt for a while.
Sideline active only. Replace
Sideline active, not at all.
Sideline active places character on the board during last action. It cannot repeat. It cannot attack.
Sideline active. Put this character on the board, then take him off. Your opponent scores nothing. In fact, they should be a little bit more disappointed now.
He is worth negative.
You know how many times a week I hear a joke about John Cena every time I bring this up too? It's like, oh great, here comes the joke about the John Cena figure who's not on the dial.
But you can't see him, Jason.
Stop. Stop, Amber, stop. Unforgivable.
He's the only WWE HeroClix that's allowed to have stealth.
Finals of the HeroClix would be Shane McMahon replaced one figure with him. He is the best in the world after all, guys. Oh, this is going to be another element, I think. HeroClix comedy. Is that a thing? Is that a thing that exists? Can we do it without attempting to make fun of us as HeroClix players and our inability to read or understand instructions? Ugh. All right, so what else do we want to talk about today in HeroClix? We've talked about the upcoming tournaments and our excitement for that. And Amber, what's your update on your willingness to play competitively in Constructed?
I'm gonna try something. I think my willingness at the moment is, hey, let's try something and not focus on trying to win or play the meta, because I kind of just want to play. But just because I have so few chances to actually get out and play HeroClix lately, I have not played since Team Championships, World Championships. That's the last time I actually played HeroClix, and that was like 3 months ago.
We are the worst HeroClix channel.
For actively going out and playing.
We used to be like the most active players I ever met, and then we both got employed. All of a sudden, we can't like this. This channel started when we were both unemployed.
Yep.
Because you're on maternity leave for our daughter, and
no, the twins.
Yeah, the twins. Okay, so you're on maternity leave for the twins, and I was
in school.
No, I was just finishing school.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a job at the time, and I was still trying to hunt for a job. So this kind of killed some time.
Yep.
And then I got a job, but then it wasn't a particularly difficult job, so we're still able to play. And then that was going for a while, but then all of the kids started going to school, and then life got busy.
And somehow our babysitting situation, even though our like free cash-ins of babysitting has always been the same family members, it's been getting less and less easier to cash in babysitting.
I think the big part of it is we do spend significantly more time with the kids as a result, because they're at that age where
they're fun to go out and do things with.
They listen to us and stuff like that. There's not 2 pieces of dead weight and a hyperactive other kid. Yeah. Right? It's, we have 3 children now with us.
We have people that live in our house, full-blown people.
Yep. So we do more things with them, and as a result, we kind of don't want to. Anyway, we've been impeded as far as playing the game. It's very difficult. It's easier when they're actually a lot younger and not doing anything. Yeah. Because they're not a hazard to themselves, or if they are super small, you just pick them up away from the thing, and you can just hold it while playing HeroClix.
Yeah,
nowadays, if I try to hold one of my kids, I'm getting this.
I think we did almost all of Fear itself with the twins there.
Yeah, with the twins in my hand, babies. In my arms, yeah.
Like, they were only a few months old at the time, so that's what the baby carriers were for. Yeah. Jason and I were playing HeroClix with a baby carrier.
Yep, kid would start squirming, I'd pick him up, I'd still be playing a game of HeroClix. Yep. And sometimes I'd hold the kid very carefully and just kind of still move the dial. I did not do very well at Fear itself. I was moving those dials a lot. I had no chance of winning Fear itself at all. Actually, no, I did have a chance, and then I got beat because that was before they accumulated the entire month's worth of points, which they started for the Dark Phoenix saga. Mm-hmm. Or at least most other venues did. Yeah. I realized I was in second place for this thing. It was right after I got the Iron Man armor. I was like, I got this? What? How did I get this? Oh, I won today. Oh! Yeah, so
yeah,
it's been challenging for us to play. I think honestly we're at that point right now where, like I said, because we don't have the schedule to edit as much as we used to, we still have Premiere. We still use Premiere, for our unboxings, as you saw. And anything that we can squeeze in and edit, it's generally just a matter of a rush job. So, any problems that you have with it, sorry, we rushed it.
But a lot of this stuff, like any of our Talking Head shows, were really just making sure that things were cut and put in title cards and stuff like that. Like, that's actually very simple editing. It's the games that were very intense editing, and unfortunately, and I understand it, those were our most like sought after videos. Everybody loves the games, us sitting down and playing the games, and I like making those look pretty, and I think they did really well once we got Premiere and I started doing all the art assets and stuff for it. I think it does really well, but that also means that I just don't have the like 6 hours or whatever to sit down and dedicate to editing one game.
Yeah, because I think what was the math? It was like every 10 minutes of video was like 3 hours of editing.
Yeah, something like that.
It's
intense.
Pretty intense. So when I say we're going to try to move into live games, we're going to do that, but there's a number of things we have to address. First of all, we'll be getting the cameras to a proper angle so that they're, one, high enough and far enough away from the table that you can see everything. Two, that they're high enough and far enough away from the table that we're not breaking our backs trying to play the game. Because, high over the map could sometimes mean low to the ground, and we don't want that. Because that's uncomfortable, and that makes us grumpy, and that makes us not
I do enough
friendly.
Bending and lifting at work that I don't want to be doing that while I'm at home.
Giggity. The frequency of them, we are going to try 1 or 2 a week. As far as tracking information, that will be the difficult part.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be the two of us. We're probably going to mark what figures are on the board and kind of... I think what we'll do is we'll mark what figures are on the board, what click number they're on, and beside it like a dial icon or something like they're on click 4. So you can follow around with the HC Realms well enough that you don't need to necessarily follow us 100%. Some people have suggested Roll20, and honestly, it's a neat thing, but we love the figures. We love the feel of the game. That's something I think I got that from my old job at Games Workshop. It's like I love looking at these things. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're not as easy on the eyes as Warhammer is. But Warhammer is also only as easy on the eyes as you are at painting them. So we'll work on it. It's going to be a work in progress, and it's going to be part of like this collection of series, this the Married Lab, as it were. Those games will be casual, though. Amber's going to be back to building them. Surprise! And I promise I'm going to go reorganize all those HeroClix this weekend, as a matter of fact, because I'm no longer going to the Magic pre-release tomorrow. I'm going to D&D with my guys at work, and that's in the evening. So I have all day to reorganize all of our HeroClix.
Without children.
Without children.
Or me distracting you.
No distractions.
You distracted. Except yourself. This, you only have yourself to blame.
Of course I only have. I always... Yeah. You know what's going to happen is I'm going to find a HeroClix. That's neat. Put it in. And then all of a sudden I'm going to have the urge to play a DS game. Or I'm going to see a character with a whip. And you'll be like, that's right. I'm playing Castlevania. Or it's like, Vampire. I like cards of Vampire. I'm playing Castlevania. So, yeah. So that's the future of this show for sure. It's more casual, laid back. Amber and Jay kind of keep guys up to speed on what we're up to, and we're going to try to keep it HeroClix focused and channel focused. So, what are we what are we working on for teams is going to be a thing. May not necessarily go into great detail about strategy, but we'll mention, hey, we're working on teams for a tournament.
Strategy.
And we came up with a stratagem, or we practiced a game, and I didn't yell, and I won't. I promise. I am better now. Gosh. You know what it is? She's taken it away from me for so long that I can't get angry about practice games anymore because I just want to play HeroClix at this point again. This is what she's done to me.
You've almost melted out of the screen at this point.
I like my slow. Now I'm just a hat. I'm a talking hat. I'm a talking Bullet Club hat. Bullet Club for life. That's it, just a Bullet Club.
Oh my.
I had that moment at work.
Yeah.
I had that moment at work where somebody was like, so are you some kind of gun nut? And I was like, no, you're not a pro wrestling fan though, so.
I had my moment at work where I'm like, this is why I need to get out to HeroClix more often, because I need to be around fellow nerds more often. I was wearing my Agent Carter shirt the other day, and my boss came up to me and he was like, so what's going on with your shirt? What's your shirt? And I'm like, well, it's Agent Carter, but it's done up like the James Bond thing. And he's like, well, who's Agent Carter? I was like, oh, well, she's Captain America's girlfriend from World War II. And he's like, yeah, okay. And like walked away from me. I'm like, I miss my nerds. I need people that understand.
You are not working in a job where you're going to run into nerds either.
No, I'm not.
You work in a warehouse, Amber. The opposite. The people who used to beat us up in grade school will be working with you, Amber. I work with proper nerds. I mean, we make video games. Bunch of nerds. All right. So with that, that's kind of our direction of this show. It's going to be very laid back, very... The conversation is going to be as casual as the clicks we talk about on this. We're going to, when we say we're going to be talking about the tournaments we're going to, we're excited to go to this tournament. We've been practicing for it. We're excited for it, and why we're excited for the tournament. Not strategy is a Meta Labs problem. If Amber wants to join the Meta Lab, she can join the Meta Lab. I mean, she's part owner of the channel. So.
You're right. It could have been worse. It could have been who's James Bond.
There's going to be a little bit more interaction with the chat on this show, too, for sure. All right. So, Michael Fedor, and we're going into questions now. So we're starting on the Facebook. If you're watching us live and you want to throw us a question in the chat, just in capital letters in front of your question, put question in front of it so we can catch it, because there's been a little bit of chit-chat in the chat room, and we just want to be able to address your question properly. It's kind of something we try to do in the Meta Lab, but like I said, we're HeroClix players. We're bad at following instructions. But starting on Facebook, Mr. Michael Fedor, the Alpha patron. If you want to join us, patreon.com/RandomClicks. Support us a little bit, and we can get that camera up and running faster. Just saying. He wants to know, are you going to have to develop a new strategy to protect the Retaliators now that the Skull can wipe them off the board in the first move? I don't think he can wipe them right off the board, right off the bat. Let's just kind of... Well, I mean, there's one that can mind control regardless of line of fire. So you can have like a what's this called? A Retaliator take out another Retaliator. Sure, that's cool. But honestly, he doesn't do much in the way of damage. So I don't think he actually is... I mean, he's got an effect on Retaliators. And if you're worried about the Skull... that by all means change your strategy and watch what you're doing with Retaliators, but I don't think he's that answer that you really need for it. There's also a Fast Force one.
Okay, I'm like, what am I missing here? Because that has nothing to do with Retaliators.
Well, and the Fast Force one also, not like he's triple target mind control with 8 range, so not really it either. So I don't think he's taking. I mean, this one he can. Do you still need range on it? Regardless of range, it still requires line of fire, right?
Yeah.
So, like,
so you can mind control from across the map.
And then you can take a Colossal Retaliator and attack another Colossal Retaliator.
I guess so.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Either way, you can still only move or attack with him. I don't think he's the answer to them. Because he's also unique. You can only have with a one of him.
Yes.
So, all right. So, I don't think... we're yet at that point where a specific strategy counteract. I don't think he is the answer to the Retaliator just yet.
Oh.
What?
Happy Little HeroClix was mentioning throwing the tank with him.
Yeah, but you can spread out.
Yeah.
But that's a valid point. We do it with Professor X.
Yeah.
But is his attack value of any?
Oh, I just put him back.
Because the Professor X had a huge attack. I mean, we don't. He's got 12 attack. Yeah, he's okay. That's a possibility. So, I mean, if you're fully dependent on Retaliators, back off a little, or just Mangog. There you go, done. Now your Retaliator is safe from both of those. Mangog's got Pervious.
Yeah, he's the one with a defense ability.
Yeah, they all have toughness for the most part. I think he's the only one that has more than toughness.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a thing. Everything's a thing.
This is how far removed I am from competitive, because I'm like, what does that have to do with Retaliators? I don't understand.
What does it have to do with map? That's the thing. Like, the Skull can just As long as he can see a dude, he can aim at the dude.
But then there's so many maps that completely cut him off, though.
Yeah, indoor map. Roll indoor. There you go. Because Retaliators are like my monster team picked the underground cave all the time.
Yeah.
Because
like there's so few maps. Even now I'm thinking like there's so few maps nowadays that you can actually see from starting area to starting area that doesn't have something in the way.
Yeah, but if it's an outdoor map for a Colossal,
true,
you can always draw a line of fire.
True, you're not wrong there.
Yeah, so an indoor map will just be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Good strategy. Back to Professor X. But I mean, so yes, we have a counter or an answer that has an answer. And some of the most Colossal Retaliator heavy teams
want to be inside anyways.
Also have a lot of them in our monster. So that's or like the Florals, you're generally winning against a team that's using the Skull because the Skull is what keyword we keep putting this guy away. He's Earth X. So if they're going to try to win a map roll, they have the Earth X keyword to work with. So it's a matter of what's great in Earth X that's going to be...
And we haven't seen anything really... Like, granted, we haven't seen the entire set, but we haven't really seen anything really game-breaking from it either.
Yeah. So far, I think like one of the best Earth X characters is still the Con Earth X Cap.
Right.
That one's probably... I think that one's actually still better than...
the title character?
The title character. The title character Cap's not bad, don't get me wrong. I don't want to completely dump on the character. He's good. But I feel like there's more functionality, more use out of the Con exclusive myself.
Which is kind of funny considering just how many of those Connex Captain Americas we were giving away.
Yeah. Well, you turned to me that one at Worlds that one year when you were at a Battle Royale, and you was like, do I take an Earth X Cap or a Green Lantern? I'm like, take the Green Lantern. It was worth more at the time.
I won a Battle Royale and passed over the Con exclusive because we had gotten that cap so many times.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Jacob Throckmorton. That's an awesome last name. What is your favorite figure so far in the new Earth X set? I'm sure Jason's is Stegron. Haha. Yeah, it's Stegron. What's yours, Amber?
I haven't made up my mind yet. I do really like the Hydras. Mm-hmm. I want to play with them. I'm sad I don't have a King Britain yet, because I'm sure he's going to be up there. I like the sculpt of the Flaming Namor. I think he's really
such a cool figure,
cool looking. But also, I have a hard time. So when they start doing all of the digital previews and they show the figures and stuff, even back when I was collecting all the pictures and putting them up on our page, I don't look at the figures. It's very hard for me to kind of get a sense of what figures are just by looking at them. I'm very hands-on and tactical, and I need to actually play a figure before I can think about them, which is a really weird way to say it, but I don't usually know what I like from a set until I start doing sealed and playing them, and then I'll end up being like, oh my god, I love this. Like, doing Secret Wars Battle World, absolutely fell in love with the World Breaker by having played him so many times in Sealed. And just between our pre-release, Team World, Battle Royales, like, I could not get enough of that World Breaker. And I think by the end of it, I knew his dial forward and back. So there's definitely figures that have piqued my interest. There aren't, as far as I know, there aren't any characters that I'm like, oh my god, I absolutely need to have this character. So there's still a fair amount of the set that I need to see before I can be like, yes, this is my favorite figure from the set.
Stegron.
We were really quiet too because I had no idea what you were doing. It's like that's probably just really obnoxious. I'm sorry for anybody rewatching that in the archives.
There's no headphone warning either. I just kind of went towards that microphone. Stegron. Oh man. Anybody who was watching with headphones, I apologize. All right, so we move into the chat. And the Rugged Dookie, also known as Aaron Kantich from 2 Clicks from KO. I want to know, what is this about? Well, it's about us getting Amber back on camera. Talking casually.
Look at me dancing.
Loving hero clips. And just generally getting things back into flow. It's still early in the new year. So we've just, I think, recovered from holidays. We still have to bring back Every Man for Everyone. It was supposed to come back this week. But, of course, we got interrupted by the unboxings.
You have decided that you're not going forward with Into the Mind of Madness. That was something that you were doing leading into Worlds?
I am... Well, it's on hiatus right now because I'm deciding what I'm going to do with that. And I think I've talked about it enough at this point. Once I figure it out, it'll probably come back.
Okay.
But we'll see. Okay. Somebody seems to agree with you on not liking Earth X, by the way. You should not marry your second cousin. Dino Powers. HeroClix ASMR. All right, cool. So, that's it. This has been the Married Lab. It's been fun today. We'll try to keep this on going on Fridays. And like
you will most likely get a very regular half hyper, half exhausted version of me. To the fact that I can't even form sentences.
Amber, on a semi-regular basis on the show, is going to be a hot mess, is what she's saying.
Yes.
There we go. Hot mess Amber. Our very own Kesha.
I hope you enjoy.
We don't have a way of outing this show. It's not like the Metal Lab where it's like practice makes your team better.
Nope.
Silliness makes your team fun? No. Just have fun playing HeroClix.
Look at me, I'm dancing.
Please don't sue us, Borderlands. I love the game too much. Earthquake test. We're just done. Forget it.